Okay, so I've been prepping to remake my extra fine nib video, and in compiling the list of nibs that I owned and that I didn't own, I realized I did not own a platinum with an extra fine nib. I own the ultra extra fine, but I didn't have a regular extra fine, so I thought in order to make that video correctly, I needed to remedy that. So enter what we're opening up today, a Platinum 3776 Black Diamond Edition. I picked this up from Endless. They happen to have it in stock. It's the colorway I like because it's got the silver trim instead of the gold. So let's get it open, get it inked up, do a little bit of writing, and take a look at it just in general. So to start out, as you can see, it's got a slip sleeve. It does have, I do like this, the little sticker to say it's authentic. So when you open it up, and I don't know if this is how the just Endless packaged it, but it does have a converter in here in a box. Hold it over here. You can see just a normal platinum converter. And then you've got the pin and a plastic sleeve. Now, in the box itself, you've got a little owner's manual, which is common, little warranty card. And it does come with a cartridge. And I thought about putting a cartridge in here, but because it has a converter, and I have a new ink that I just swatched on my stream recently that I really like the look of, I think I'm going to go with that. So for now, I'll just put that cartridge back in there, save that for a later time, and we'll go on and use the converter for this one. So let me go and pull this out of the sleeve. I'll put the sleeve back in there. Not that I need to keep it, but sometimes I like to keep the little packing materials all together. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Now, my other ultra extra fine platinum is also a 3776, but it's the burgundy one. So you can see kind of a standard cigar shaped pin, silver trim. And you can see there on the nib, it's got the platinum logo, the 3776 and 14 karat. So this is a gold nib. And this is a fairly light pin. It's not a heavy body. In fact, with this material, I don't know if the camera is going to show it well enough here, but you can kind of see it's almost translucent. You can kind of almost see down through that. So let's get the converter opened up and see about getting this inked up. And then I'll do a little bit of writing just to show. And then I'll go grab off camera my ultra extra fine just to show it compared to that. But, you know, stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel because I will be remaking my extra fine nib video. And last time I did it, I had 15 nibs. I'm up to 25 now, and I'm searching around for some other grinds or some other nibs that I might have missed potentially to include to kind of make it as, you know, even more comprehensive than I did last time, just to get the most variety in there. So standard platinum converter, and I do like that they include a silver one with a silver trim pin. Nice little touch, so you don't have a gold trim converter. Not that it's going to be seen, but little details can matter. Okay, so the ink that I decided to use is one of the Lamy Crystal series. I've really been liking these, and I think we're going to end up with all 10 when it's said and done. But this is the, and here's the box, just so you can see. It's the Benitoite, I believe is how you pronounce it. Now, when I swatched this, the color on the box is kind of misleading. It actually swatches as a more vibrant blue. So that'll be interesting to see once we get to the writing sample of how different the packaging sometimes can be from the actual ink. So let's go on and get this filled up and take a look at that. So to get started, let me grab a paper towel just to set down to try and prevent another ink spill on this desk mat. Go on and just get this opened up. And I don't know if the camera, if you could see that, be careful when opening up some of your bottles because it can create like a little bit of an air bubble, and that bubble can pop and send little bits of ink everywhere. So I just realized I held that off camera. When you're putting in the converter, if you're not familiar, it just pushes in and kind of seals. Make sure everything's tight. Go on and put the converter all the way down so that you can see the piston rod and there's all the way down. Put into the bottle, into the feed. I like to go up, down, and then up just to make sure it pushes any of the extra air out so you get a good full fill. And you can see here, I'll hold it over to the side, I got a nice full fill out of that. So I'm going to get the ink bottle closed up, get this nib wiped off, and then we'll get it in the pen and do some writing. Okay, just get it put in here, screw it in. And for writing today, what I'm going to be using is some of the Irrefull paper that I put in my Bible-size plotter. Got a sheet prepped in here. And I just have it over one of the little Yamamoto paper kind of grid cards. This is dot grid paper, so it's not necessarily needed. But I thought this might be a good way to just show how you can see the lines through there as well. And they do line up with the grid, which is nice. So this is let's hopefully you get a good write from right off. Platinum 3776, black diamond. And this is the extra fine. And the Lamy Crystal Benitoite. And, as you'd expect with it being an extra fine nib and a Japanese extra fine at that, very thin lines. So if you do not like writing small or really precise lines, this would not be a nib you'd probably choose to own unless you had a really special case for it. For me, I love these extra fine nibs, and that's why I'm really looking forward to remaking that video now that I have quite a few more nibs to show versus the original 15. So with this being gold, you can get a little bit of variation if you kind of pull it, but with a hard extra fine nib like this, you're not really going to expect much out of that. So as I said, let me grab, I have it sitting off to the side here, my other 3776, and this is I've had this for probably going on 12 years or so, and you can see just the comparison. It's the burgundy with the gold trim, and this has the ultra extra fine nib in it. And in a way, I kind of wish I had one that were both of the nibs matched, because then I could flip-flop the nib around, but I don't necessarily want to put a gold nib or gold finish gold nib into one with a silver clip, but we'll make do. So this one here is platinum. And I doubt the microphone is picking up because of how it has to be set to hear the voice clearly. But this one the ultra extra fine is a lot louder on the page, especially on this Irrefull paper. And I'm just going to put burgundy because I cannot think of the proper model name. It starts with a B, but we'll be fine with that. And this is the ultra extra fine. And then this is, I think, the Colorverse. It was one of the ones from the Colorverse calendar. I think it's possibly Super Giant, but I'm just going to put Colorverse Color Vent for now so that it's not showing the incorrect name. It's showing where that ink can be located. So you can, and I don't know if, once again, if that's hearing that, but it's definitely a lot more of an audible feedback on here. And it's the same thing. And you can see, let me hold this over and then I'll do some side-by-side actual writing to show the difference. But even just in this writing sample here, you can see the glare will participate. You can see that it's definitely a much finer line. Let me try holding it up to this camera. Maybe that'll show it a little bit better. you can see how much of a difference that ultra extra fine versus the extra fine is in terms of the line thickness. So let's do just a little bit of side by side right here, just to kind of show, and if you're not used to really fine nibs, you might not see it, but if you're used to writing with tiny nibs, this jumps out to me quite a bit. But this is in my wheelhouse of what I'm used to, what I like writing with. So that makes sense. So when you look at this side by side, let me just go and take this out of here so I can hold that up to get the best possible angle now that we're done with the actual writing. Try holding it over to the side camera here just to see if I can get it centered well enough where it'll show it well. Yeah, so when you look at that and you see now that the camera is focusing, it's not a massive difference, but it's enough to be noticeable. And, so depending on what you're using or how you write or what you're using it for, and you can really see that there, that's a better, from when I held it up before, the writing difference. Same person writing, same words essentially, and you can see the difference. Especially look at the word colorverse. It's much finer of a line than the Lamy line above. Now, in terms of the inks, that can make a little bit of a difference, but I don't think it makes that much in this comparison between the two nibs. But, I don't know how I went this long without a normal extra fine platinum. I have the desk pen, which is a steel pen. I just did the video recently with the Preppy and the 0.2 and 0.3. And that's where I was kind of surprised. I was like, wait, do I really not have one of these? How did I miss including a regular extra fine in my initial video? But obviously we'll have that to look forward to during that remake. So, this, and also just in terms of this ink, if you haven't bought any of these Lamy Crystal inks, look them up. All of the ones that we have, I think we only have 3 or 4 more in the entire series of 10 that we need to pick up. They've all been great. They perform really well. And they're kind of the background ink you don't hear of all that much. So, definitely trying to spread that little tidbit of wisdom that, don't necessarily sleep on inks that aren't the flashiest, fanciest, newest. Sometimes the tried and true that have been around for a while are going to be great performers as well. So, that's going to do it for the video today. I do have a question though. Do you have any of these are you an extra fine nib writer, or are you an ultra extra fine, or is this just way out of your wheelhouse where you see these lines and you're like, that's way too small? Leave me a comment. Let me know if you have these, or if if you're extra fine nib curious of, do you think you would use them? That's where something like a 0.2 Preppy might be a good intro, especially with the platinum side of having that same brand, or the extra fine pilots or others, Japanese brands. And just remember, extra fine nibs from like a Lamy or a Pelican or something from German is going to be like 1 line size equivalent bigger than the Japanese. So keep that in mind as you're shopping. But leave me some comments. Let me know your general nib preferences when it comes to extra fines or ultra extra fines. And I'd love to hear what you have to say about that. If you could do me a favor and go on and click on the like on this video if you found this information helpful. And there's a new feature YouTube added that, it seems like is going to be a thing that, trying to get ahead of to see if it makes a difference. Something called hype. So if you're looking at this video on your phone and you see something below the video called hype, if you wouldn't mind clicking on that. No one really knows what it does yet, but it never hurts to be one of the first ones to try something out when there's a new feature. So I'd really appreciate that, and we'll see if it helps the channel out at all. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.